Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. So you wanna chill, smoke the smoke.
What's up, community? It's your boy, the Bearded Wonder, and I'm joining you again yet another week of Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder, brought to you by the Business Podcast. Of course, you can find us on Facebook at Black in Business or on Instagram, IG Black underscore in Business, and our brand new website, www.blackinbusinesspodcast.com. And of course, you can catch Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder right there from the website, live and in living color. So what's going on, community? How's everyone's week been? I haven't seen you guys since last week. I'm actually a day off. Typically do these on Fridays. Doing it on a Saturday. So I'm feeling a little off, but not really. Synergy's still good. I'm feeling good, feeling great. I've got my unofficial host with me, so I'm good, shrubs and girls. But I'm gonna leave that there. But also, today's topic is something I really wanted to talk about for quite some time, actually. When the unfortunate passing and assault of George Floyd took place, a lot of athletes had taken to their platforms of being athletes and spoke out on the social and racial injustices that we're seeing within our community. Um, and Kyrie Irving was one of the people to speak up first, and LeBron James, he was in the same ilk as Kyrie when everything first went down with George Floyd, and Kyrie was talking about Breonna Taylor and finding her killers. Um, but the question that I pose, of course, is anything that I do with taking notes, or anytime you guys listen to us on the podcast, I got to play devil's advocate. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to read the brief description in today's topic. Are they being genuine? Are professional athletes being genuine? Or are they riding trends, trying to, of course, up jersey sales and bring awareness to their own brand? Um, I'm saying that with a little bit of cynicism because I truly believe wholeheartedly that most of these professional athletes are acting out of true, genuine kindness and out of true feeling. And it being that a lot of them came from broken homes or underdeveloped or gentrified neighborhoods and cities across the country and made it out and one of the elite few to go professional in any sport. But specifically, I was thinking of the basketball players. But we had players like Jonathan Isaac, who plays for the Orlando Magic. He's actually out or went out the first game of their playoff run. And he's on the opposite end of the spectrum where he's not using his platform to support the Black Lives Matter movement or even speak up about it. He was not willing to take a knee. He didn't want to wear any of the Black Lives Matter t-shirt swag that the NBA was had put forth in their initiative when they opened the bubble rather. So I mean, I find it a little ironic that he didn't decide to join in on these initiatives, and he got hurt the very first game of the playoff run, Orlando Magic's playoff run. So you have both ends of the spectrum. You have some players that are more vocal than others. You also have others that are completely adverse to the idea of the Black Lives Matter movement. Not saying that they don't care about it or that it doesn't affect them or affect them. I just think that they may have other motives, I guess, behind uh, why they aren't speaking up. Some of it could be tied to whatever brands they may be endorsing. They might have a non-disclosure agreement or NDA within the endorsement bill that says, hey, anything that's will be considered political or racial, sexual, whatever, you can't speak out on it while you're under contract with the brand. So there's that aspect of it as well. But what I really wanted to touch on is a lot of our athletes, or the newer generation of athletes, that have, of course, this unprecedented access, not only to their fans, but to the world through technology and the advent of cell phones and social media. That some former athletes and older generation athletes didn't have, but still made their presence felt through media. Um, I just don't understand why a lot of them didn't take to their platform a lot sooner. I know maybe it may have been a couple of years ago at this point that I think Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James all went out on the stage for I believe it was the MTV Awards, and they spoke out about racial injustice and social injustice and police reform and violence against people of color, and more specifically black men. Uh, and that was a couple of years ago, and they used that platform to, of course, try what's lacking. But that's a 2 year gap. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, was your intent to bring awareness to this, for your sake and for your family's sake and for the sake of your community, or was this something that you were doing to bring more awareness to yourself? So again, I have a little bit of skepticism behind it. Um, the the bigger part of me wants to give the benefit of the doubt and believe that these athletes are being genuine with their connection with the outside world and with everything that's going on in politics and policies. But community is one of those things that's really been weighing on me for quite some time. Um, I don't think it should have taken as much as it has in terms of uh, everything that's been happening to us within professional athletes. Um, I think that's what bothers me the most is that we didn't get or don't have a voice in our community until it's almost too late. So I feel. Um, and I really, truly, honestly hope that I'm a bigger part of my beliefs is that that these athletes are um, doing this out of pure going on. So for me, it's just one of those things that I really wanted to touch on. I wanted to get some feedback and kind of interact and figure out if anyone else is feeling the same way I'm feeling or a little bit different. And in the meantime, in between time, in today's episode of Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder is unofficially brought to you by Adidas. And I say unofficially because they don't sponsor us and we don't sponsor them. But the beer is delicious, and if anybody has it in, hey, why not? I drink them all the time. And this is actually a special one. This is the pecan ale or pecan, depends on how you want to pronounce it. I don't really care how you pronounce it, as long as it's good and it's made correctly. I'm all for it. So salute, and my perfect pour going. There you go. Delicious. The beat has not failed me yet again. I wasn't expecting to. I usually go with their purple haze, which is a raspberry lager. It's rather light, it's like a 4.6 APV compared to any IPAs. But that's like their go-to is the purple haze. It's usually around most of the year. Don't put it out. Don't see it usually in the fall or anything. But anyway, I can talk about beer for a whole hour too. Back to the lecture at hand. Um, the genuineness of our athletes. Is this real? Is this a farce? Um, there has also been reports that after at the conclusion of the NBA championship, once everything is said and done, the players union is supposed to sit down with the commissioner, and they're supposed to do a complete overhaul of the NBA initiatives and their reforms. So I'm wondering, and I'm actually excited to see what initiatives the players put forth to the commissioner, and hopefully the commissioner pushes those forward. One of the things I would love to see, um, probably going forward within these new initiatives, I would love to see the professional athletes liaise with local police departments. And that is the major disconnect. A lot of the officers in these cities don't live in the actual city. A lot of them are from surrounding areas, or even in some instances a state over. Um, so I mean, there's a lot of that disconnect, and unfortunately, a lot of the officers that patrol, our neighborhoods, our community, aren't from our community and haven't been in our community. Or if they were, it was a lot different from the time when they grew up time now. It may have got worse, or it may have gotten better. So it really depends on the region of the country we're talking about, or the region of a city that we may be speaking of. So um, that's one of the initiatives I would love to see going forward, especially with the NBA players union speaking up to the commissioner, and the commissioner pushing forward with new NBA initiatives for the community and communities and that. There's also a lot of voices all over the Black Lives Matter movement, and a lot of people, of course, are still kind of confused with which voice to follow. Uh, I would venture to say that probably 93 to 95% of the protests that have been going on since the death and murder of George Floyd have been mainly peaceful. Um, of course, in that time we've had, other incidences, like more recently Jacob Blake being shot. I think I brought this up last week, and last taking notes, being shot 7 times unarmed. Um, Honestly, my real question is, when does this shit end? When is it okay for me to be okay to open my door and not, or before I open my door, like, I hope I make it back. I hope I can get home tonight, or I hope I get home after my shift from work. I don't, I don't want to speak that narrative. And of course, I bring them up every time I get an opportunity. My children, my kids, because I'm at a loss. And the only thing I can really tell them is, be careful and comply and be safe, and make sure you check in, with your mom, and with myself on a more regular basis, and on a regular basis, so that way we know what's going on. There's no miscommunication, or there's no misconstrued, information, misinformation being disseminated between the parents, or between the children to the parents, and vice versa. Because the goal is, as a parent, you want the best for your children. You want what's best for them, or better than what you had, of course, coming up and in your upbringing. So don't think that it's just to be a worry wart, or just to nag your kids. It really is a natural parental concern. I mean, that's this is what you do. Once you find out you're a parent, or when you become a parent, you just immediately, instincts kick in, and you're just ready to just, conquer the world for your child or children. So for me, it's that double-edged, triple-edged sword that I have to be very careful with, and flirting the thin line. That's one of the reasons, probably, on a more regular basis, or if you have a regular conversation with me, I'm very articulate, because I don't want anything to be misconstrued. For those that are just tuning in, this is, of course, taking notes with the bearded wonder. So today's topic, I was talking about professional athletes using their platform to bring light to the Black Lives Matter movement. Is this real, or is it to the Black Lives Matter movement? So that's kind of where I am. I'm kind of in the middle, just kind of going back and forth with some things that I've read, some dialogue that I've had with several of my colleagues and friends, and even my co-hosts. Shout out to Drake and Brooklyn. Salute, brother. Appreciate you, of course, every week, like I do. I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to be on this platform and express myself freely. Um, so, I mean, there's so much to this that I don't even know in my lifetime if any answer, if any of these questions will be answered. Um, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if it's going to be answered for my children's lifetime. Maybe I have grandchildren one day. If I, blessed enough to live long enough to see that. Um, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a very very deep level of concern in terms of the future for a lot of people. And I'm one of those people. It's not that I'm being a skeptic. It's not that I'm afraid of stepping out or living my life or being me. Um, I'm not at all afraid of that. Unapologetically unafraid. Um, I just don't know. And I think that's the narrative for a lot of us is that we just don't know. And with our professional athletes, stepping up, and at the timing of them stepping up, a couple of teams boycotted, or a few teams boycotted games last week because of the Jacob Blake. When I first heard, that the players were pretty much, canceling the game, um, I immediately, my first response was, wow, like that's awesome. LBJ, big ups. Kyrie, big ups, even though the Nets aren't in it, but speaking up and being nothing to do with it, but they didn't want to take the win on the forfeit and decided, hey, we're not gonna play either, so that way it's just a complete cancellation. So I mean that's a really really big thing. Um, and maybe my question is answered. Maybe it is genuine. Because I had to think about it. A lot of these athletes, especially right now, being in the bubble, being in a controlled environment, and having their season shortened or misplaced, has definitely put a little damper in their paychecks because they're not having the games weren't happening as often because there was still some regular season left when the pandemic started. Um, and it's just maybe I did answer my own question. Maybe I did. Because I was gonna say, well, maybe it's the money move, and it could very well be. I mean, anybody that's about making money, that's in business, they want to capitalize on whatever trend is happening at that particular juncture in time to capitalize on that dollar. Capitalism. There you go. Broken down. Bearded Wonder style. What can I say? But yeah, it really is. It's a movement. It's a definite movement. I got to speak with my granddad briefly, and we talked about it. My granddad's 91 years old, so he's been through a lot. He was alive before TV, and now here he is, being alive during the time of smart TV. And hopefully, he lives, even longer. So we've had these discussions, the Olympics, when uh, the protests were going on during the Olympics, and on TV to see the Black Power sign go up twice, actually three times, was pretty amazing to say the least. And he felt, sense of power and pride, being a young man at the time during the civil rights movement and doing his part in the civil rights movement, helping out, being a liaison with Black Panther Party and the community and that kind of thing. My granddad did a lot during that time. This is going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But hold on to your hope, hold on to your faith, hold on to uh, the fact that there will be an end to this at some point. He definitely warned me. He said, you may not see the end of this in your lifetime. He's like, I'm not going to see the end of it clearly, because I'm in, and of course he brings up, in the twilight of his life, et cetera. I'm like, look, Papa, we're not going to talk about your mortality at this particular juncture in time. We're going to let you enjoy and continue to enjoy life as long as you can. And he's in good health. So to hear him compare what's going on now to the things that went on in the 60s, uh, and it being that those comparisons aren't even parallel. Like they intersect, they touch, they meet. Um, the only real difference is we can instantly, post something about it, or we can instantly, you know, say or do something about it, so to speak. Whereas, you don't have to wait for the news cycle, or, if it was something that was televised live, it would have to happen right then and there for you to witness it. Whereas you can do that now too, because you have Facebook Live, YouTube Live, for example, et cetera, et cetera. So it can be done on a live kind of basis, but at the same token, it's not the same as what my granddad went through, or even what my mom went through, or even when I was younger. Waiting for the news to come on to see what happened during the day. What big news happened. While I was in school, or while you were at work, basically. So it's one of those things. Like, now you have so much power, and you have so many tools that we can use to not only propel the movement forward, but to also make a true impact within our communities and within our youth, especially. Uh, 'Cause that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But at the same token, this is the same generation uh, that has the absolute power to get these changes implemented and to get us heard, because they're much more savvy than even my generation. So I mean, it's one of those things where you have to really grab this momentum uh, fully, and be thoroughly immersed in everything that's going on. I think since everything has police brutality as we know it and as we've seen it. I mean, the first real when you say police brutality, the first image that comes to mind is Rodney King. Um, the very first image that comes to mind as soon as you say police brutality for me, and even then, uh, it's hard to quantify and put into words the level of disappointment and anger, I guess, for lack of better terms, from our law enforcement. These are people we're supposed to go to when we need help, or if we're in danger, or if we're just seeking solace from something that's happening in the outside world. I fully don't. I don't get it. I'm not understanding it. I'm not quite. I just don't get that disconnect. It really bothers me that we have that. And I brought the point up earlier about these particular police officers in these communities are from those particular communities. They're police communities they're not from. So I know that has a lot to do with it, but at the same token, um, even with that, it's got to be you got to have training. You go through the academy. You go through sensitivity. And I'm not in law enforcement at all. Never have been. Never will be. But at the same token, it's kind of like common knowledge. I mean, I had to go through diversity and sensitivity training as a manager for a restaurant chain. So, I mean, you do that. I have to do that I had to do that for my current job, and I'm currently, working retail right now while the pandemic's going on. So, I mean, there's so many levels to it, there's so many different layers to this. Uh, the way that I'm speaking about specifically are celebrities and athletes that are speaking up on Black Lives Matter in the Black Lives Matter movement. Are they really doing this, being genuine, or is it, to build their own brand? And like I said in the very beginning, or maybe even in the middle of taking notes, is that I genuinely believe uh, the bigger part of me believes that these athletes are really trying to illuminate our community and bring forth change. So I mean, I'm hoping I'm right. Again, I'm hoping I'm right. You see that I can move away from that, and I can move into something else, because I do have something else on the docket for you guys. I'm reading. That is on the docket. Yes, that is the other prize I wanted to drop and take a note. I have quite some time, probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point, and it sat on my shelf. I moved it several times, You know, to reach for something else, put it back in the spot that I got it from, and then a few days ago I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this book down, and I'm gonna start reading. The name of the book is called Managing Up. The author's name, I actually have the book right in front of me, so I'm not even try to fake the funk. The name is last name is Abbajay, Abbajay, and the name of the book is called Managing Up. Let's see if I can grab her first name. Mary is her first name. Mary Abbajay. And the name of the book is called Managing Up. Yeah. Boom. There it is. Been reading this bad boy for about 3 or 4 days. I'm probably about a good 12 pages in. I've just been doing a page or two at a time. And it's funny because I'm bringing this up because it directly correlates to what I'm doing on the podcast to a degree. It's all about persevering in your workplace through different management styles and management types. It also gives you the perspective from a subordinate and the perspective from a manager. And the funny thing is, I'm only 12 or 13 pages in, but a lot of the positive boxes on both sides I check on just based on how I process things, just based on my mentality and how I do things. So I definitely just wanted to share that little tidbit of information. It's a lot of fun, as well. I missed that when I was in school. I had 8 o'clock classes, had a full course load, and I think I lost my knack for reading for fun during college, and I haven't really picked up too many books since then. So that's shame on me, and I'm fixing all of that now by, of course, rededicating myself to uh, reading books on either subject matter I don't know anything about, so I'm educating myself, or on a subject matter that I feel I can get better at. I felt like I was a great manager when I was managing, definitely been better. I have a lot of coworkers, subordinates, or whatever you want to call them, from my past job that still stay in contact with me because of the rapport that was built professionally. It became a professional, personal relationship as my time and tenure went on at different locations and places that I've worked. So it's definitely reaffirming and positive to read something that uh, is telling you, you're thinking the right way, your objectives are correct. Just keep pushing in that direction. This is how you get to overcome some adversities or negative thought or negative feedback, et cetera, et cetera. So it is the category of self help, if you will. So yeah, good book. Again, Managing Up by Mary Abbajay. Check it out. I'm like I said, I'm 13 pages in, but it's a good read. It's not necessarily an easy read. It's almost like a reference. But you can read it like a regular, straight through book. It does open up for you to do that. However, I have a highlighter attached to the book. I don't know if you guys saw me moving the highlighter, but I have a highlighter attached to the book because there's so many different points that that just pop out, and it's in outline form. Some of it's in outline essay form, but it's a good book so far. So, like I said, 13 pages in, 14 pages in roughly, and I'm taking my time with it because I want to go through, take notes, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. And of course, in case you haven't noticed or don't know, this is Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder that's brought to you by the Black in Business Podcast. The Black in Business Podcast is brought to you by Designer Custom Glasses, Next Page LLC, and One Empire Mobile Studio. You want to get in touch with them, you get in touch with them through us, and I can tell you how to do that quite simply, real easy. Go on to Facebook, type in the search bar Black in Business, and our icon should pop up for you guys real quick, like, or Instagram, Black underscore in business on the IG or Instagram. We also have a website that you can get in touch with us on there as well, www.blackinbusinesspodcast, all one word.com. And on that said website is also a new uh, page on that website for product reviews. It's currently under construction. We're working on that as we speak. So if you have products that you want us to try and highlight, please send them our way. Drop us an email, and that email address that is with you guys. I'm going to do it right now. It's blackinbusiness at Gmail. I'm sorry, I missed something. It's Black and Business Podcast at gmail.com. You know, email joint and let us know. You know, you have a product that you want us to try. We'll try it. We'll do it. You know, IG live. We'll go ahead and try your product out on camera and do those kinds of things. In case you missed it, I'm going to run it back. Today's topic, the Bearded Wonder was talking about our athletes, the professional athletes that are speaking up about Black Lives Matter. Is this for real? Are they genuine? Do they really mean this? Do they really want change in communities? Or are they doing this for personal gain and brand awareness? And I said for myself personally, I believe at this point that it's done out of true concern. So in case you missed that, by all means, you can run this video all the way back. It's on YouTube. You can check our YouTube page out right here on YouTube. You can type in "taking notes" with the Bearded Wonder, and taking notes is actually alphanumeric. So there is that part. I agree, Nicole. Enough is enough. Yes, legit. I believe that they really mean it as well. I'm in the same boat as you. I thoroughly agree with that sentiment. I mean, for a minute, I went on a tangent. I don't know if you were here for it, but I went on a tangent to say that I don't know because that's why maybe it can't be for money because the season was shortened. And endorsement deals, you know, are most of the times they run in congruency with whatever season that athlete's in. So, yeah, I believe you too. I believe it's enough is enough. I'm with you, Nicole, for sure. For sure. And then I also brought up as a surprise to the community that the Bearded Wonder is reading now. So if you weren't here for that, I'm reading Managing Up by Mary Abigail. It's a good book, good reference in terms of self-check, just checking yourself, like what your attitude is and where you are in terms of workplace relationships. It was a pretty good one. I'm also reading the 5 Love Languages for men as well, but I wasn't going to say anything about that, but I just did. So there you go. I'm reading 2 books at once. I probably shouldn't do that because neither book has pictures, and sometimes I can get lost. I see the Bearded Wonder is a good follower for Steven Wilson. Throw me in the chat. That was suck. But yeah, I mean that's where I was standing. You know, I was just getting ready to wrap up, and I was letting everyone know, you know, if you missed it or you haven't seen it, run the video back. I think this is probably one of my better taken notes because you can definitely see, and if you can't see, you can hear it. If you can't hear it, you can feel it. My genuine concern for our community, our Black men, our Black women, our babies. Um, you know, there's not enough. There's not enough positivity in the world right now, and I'm tired too. Like I'm legit. I'm beat down. I'm beat down tired. I don't want to hear, you know, another one of my brothers or sisters going down, or another baby getting shot, or you know, cops being lawless. You know, the law lawless. It's enough, yo. Like that shit's tiring. That shit is tiring. It's exhausting. And I'm sure I share those sentiments with a lot, if not the vast majority of Black people. Um, you do have some that are completely against the Black Lives Matter movement based on the small percentage of protesters that are looting and putting shit on fire and tearing down statues. I'm not for that shit. Like, you know, don't fuck up property, you know, to prove your point. You can prove your point a lot more with just the power of your words and the power of your presence. Um, I mean, I take full advantage of being 6'1", 220 pounds. I take up space. Like, I'm going to take up space. I'm going to let you know that I'm in your space. And that's imposing enough. So doing stuff like that, just being a physical presence is really enough. You don't need to tear anything down. You need to burn anything like that. Not only that, too, I haven't heard at the time of airing as of yet, and community is really chat. You can probably do some homework a lot faster than I can. But the dude in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Kyle Rittenhouse, did his mom ever get charged with anything? Because she definitely drove him to the spot, to the protest, with the that's supposed to be carrying on firearm goes, to a state away, basically, because he was in the next state over, shoot some people, and they get him the next day. But has his mom been brought up on charges? Is what I want to know. But I need to find out. I need to do my homework. See, you know what? I thought I did enough homework. No, I didn't do enough homework apparently. I definitely did take some notes on this particular topic. Yeah, I took some notes. That's right. You heard me correctly. I did not bite my tongue. Just taking notes with the woman. I actually took some notes. Go figure. Those are the notes I didn't take though. I don't know if the mom got charged with anything. She should be. She knew better. Yes, Nicole, that is crazy. Cuckoo. Either. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get my serenade ready for you guys because we about to close it on down, shut it on down for the evening. And it goes without saying. Look out for your neighbor. Look out for each other. Look out for your babies. Definitely look out for the babies. You gotta look out for the babies. That's our who we need to lead us in the right direction. And in the words of rapper Joel Santana, don't watch me, watch TV. Peace.
Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke.